Welcome, welcome to our lovely IHP paid and free subscriber community. We continue our chit chat on those who are not mediocre. The body in connection, and that is a lovely ventral vagal state, and the mind with a intelligent one. So integrated brains, restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating people. That's our 5D collective, and we had a nice couple episodes, a long one and a short one, and we've had some long ones. And I was planning on doing some readings, but I'm going to instead give you a bit of POV stories with some also cards that are going to be a part of the readings that we have IHPIG mindset exercises and readings and spotlight for our paid subscribers. So the readings are for the 5D collective again of those who are not mediocre. Mediocrity are emotionally immature people who want love. They didn't choose to be mediocre, by the way, but we'll get to that. But they want love and the in and out group stories. They don't want to do work and maturity. They don't want to reach the functional inner child adult. So with their unfinished business, which could be tended to by Patrick Tan, a really good therapist, or Terry Real, or anyone who will help a person to learn to love themselves first, they don't want it, so they continue talking to us about demonic spirits, devils, evils, relationships that come your way to test you and stuff like that. So 3D, 4D collective, I knew that they were going to stick around. They are people who you will see, they portray that they have complete certainty. They are the authority of everything. They are experts, and their bias, there's bias which are charged. They have trauma charges that are completely what they lead with. And their agenda is we want people to say we're right. Because to heal the trauma charges, studies show that the fourth step is taking bystanders and having them take your side. The 5D collective, we are actual, independent, functional child adults. Actual, because I'm a differentiated self. So Maria's subjective experience isn't going to be authority of anyone. Paid subscribers get to do something they're already doing, and so the benefit is that they enjoy the depths of the emotional plane and they don't want to be mediocre, because really being around, okay, so here's perspectives and stories. Facade people in the short, or no, the extended, I believe I said something about I don't hang around unhealthy self-worth, but the reality is we hang around all people because there's plenty of boundaryless, that's the poorest boundary people. They play victim, and then they don't notice what they bring to the table. It's all genders, by the way, in all situations. Then we got the ones who are like walls, and sometimes they're pushy. So martyrs, blamers, superiors, codependent human beings. Their 0 to 8-year-old suffers life, and in fact, when someone says, I really want people to stop about what feels right, and they should just be about what is right, it's like, wow, somebody who doesn't know how, reality works. Body. So anyways, again, enlightenment, mysticism, and spirituality. The human way is not for mediocre people. Dash 5D mystic points of views. It's about an hour-ish long. You can go tune on in. And our short was about how mediocrity are emotionally immature people who want love and in-out group stories, not work and maturity. Here, I'm going to share with you how instead it's really amazing to move into the enlightenment soul age group, to go from faith with Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, to having clairs, and with mysticism and spirituality, finding out the human way, how to explain it to you all, because light body, rainbow body, okay? And really, I'm not going to be explaining much, but if you do want one-to-one mentorship because you're doing spiritual growth, self-help, personal development, you email me. For the masterclass, you email to sign up, and for the workshops, retreats you sign up to. And so those are sign-up sheets. In the meantime, become a paid subscriber. The link is below. It'll help the channel to continue to bring forth content, but really it's if you do daily practices that you'll want to do them, because it's fun to do thoughts and emotions. We have 3-minute, 5-minute, and 15-minute ones, so it works with your time. Okay, so I wanted to share with you this because the sorcerer is what I actually get made fun of sometimes. I don't witch. I'm like, no, I have no witch within me. And when you look at the definition of a sorcerer, the 4D has a very much scary business with the subconscious. And today I understand why, because I have an embodied brain that is a self-led, securely attached, non-traumatized human being. So I'm not afraid of Maria's 0 to 1-year-old, of her 3-year-old. I have no fear with the unknown of the world that we live in. Okay, so why the 4D and shamans, these are books that I read, would give this lower plane some creepy is because they feel overwhelmed by it. And the reason I know is because I've met 4D mystics before, and as they read coffee cups and do readings, I'm like, sounds like you're really I don't know, this is way down, like you're really heavy right now. Okay, so when people don't know how to use their ventral vagal state because thinking and feeling is hard, I know how to explain it to you. Okay, so being a sorcerer is not something that, one, we prove at all, and past lives are not something you go around proving. As a mystic, we have fun talking to our mystic friends about this stuff. We totally don't need to come out of the closet. Nothing scary about being a mystic. The ones who are actually feeling like they're not welcomed, those are people who could use Patrick Tian to become a functional child adult. Because as he explains, once you're the authority of your inner child, you are not going to be afraid to stand up to someone because you won't feel ashamed or guilty. And you know that any grown-up who treats any child in a way of shaming them, that's not a grown-up. That's a person who needs a therapist to get out of their very unfortunate business. No demons in people who don't have good manners. They're all biologically rude. Okay, so the weak ones is what I'm going to call them right now, are the mediocre human beings who don't go and get their body in connection. Now, the people who say it's hard, I say that's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that you can't erase trauma, but they have therapists to work with to expand their window of tolerance to affect and emotional stuff. So I'm hearing from all the smart therapists that integration is possible, ventral vagal toning is possible, and they're offering toolkits and beyond. Okay, so lightning, flow state. Okay, when you are a flow state person, it's because you are able to wield the integrated brain, and so you're not going to short circuit. The channeling, downloading is very easy for me. It's never been where I got anything upon me, and when somebody describes to me that sensations are creeping up, and I've had them again, I say, look, Patrick McNamara, neuroscientist, explains the fear receptor in the brain goes wonky. He studies the brains of a lot of different religious figures, including shamans, and he's explained what this is. And so there's a way for you to help yourself, and it's getting yourself to somatic sensory motor, EMDR, to get your window of tolerance expanded, to get your body in aliveness, to get out of pseudo-aliveness. Okay, so people who think life is a sacrifice, being a human or being spiritual, no sacrifice. Not even once did I sacrifice anything. But that's because I navigate my embodied brain, the wind. I know exactly what the medicine wheel is. It's my heart. I'm my own beloved, and then I can be the beloved of another because I'm a securely attached, non-traumatized person who knows exactly what forgiveness means and what a heart is. Okay, so it's a person, and like me, they will have all the emotions that I have in the child parts. It's the circle of life. Yes, so my mind doesn't wield its sword in a way of inner critic or outer critic, because humans are not shitty. They're people. I'm a human. Stop being shitty to humans. Anytime somebody's crapping on humans or the younger generation, just like, okay, we got some black and white thinkers. The ancient ones give us wisdom. You use it when you can soar like an eagle, and that means where you can have a vision which involves from the holy mountain all your brothers and sisters, because nobody is an ego that is actually egoic. So when you get grandiosity and contempt, people who think that they are the only ones who can channel the upper world, and then they talked about Kundalini awakening, the ones who talk about it as if yoga brings demons out of you, they're from the medieval times at this point. I mean, really, the ones who talk about it as if they're the only ones with their subliminal messages who can connect you to the upper world are egoic as well. So Kundalini awakening, when it's explained effectively by a man who is a doctor, I believe, he says it's very, very different from a psychotic break. And thanks to his explanation, I'm like, yep, I know those who have had a Kundalini awakening and those who have not. And then I know who is actually a representative of those who are wise, because anyone who wants to talk about humanity and that which is spirituality and mysticism as if it's something scary are the ones who don't know that we balance everything out as hunters and gatherers. And so enlightenment, again, mysticism, spirituality, the human way is not for the mediocre person. The mediocre person will spiral in their karma wheel because they won't have access to the soul, which is the same frequency for all of us. They will have access to an amygdala, alert, 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 because they don't have the empowered feminine. Their embodied brain is not safe. And so without being a jaguar, They don't know how to rattle the sun and be connected to the heart of the sky. This sun represents both feminine and masculine. So when you're balanced, that's when you're going to be able to be the middle way, and to be able to also, right here, tame the wind, your thoughts, be the tree of life you came to be, bring forth, for some of us, the passion of Christ, but also the fire of that which is the adolescent essence, essential spark, social engagement, novelty, creative expression. Thank you, lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel. Mystical shamans, we know all about the moon, the phases, and nobody's cursed. And when we have loved ones who we know did not get the beginning of their life the best way, we are the ones who can show them the way of how to wield their magic as wild women, because all empowered feminines have a body that is in connection. It's not about being a woman. It's about being a seer. You're a seer and you're an earth keeper, because you know that the council would not in any way, shape, or form destroy anything. And the luminous warriors, again, you reach enlightenment in many ways, but there's only one way that you will know that you have that which is enlightened. It's a person who knows how to love always. And then to know, yeah, we have fear, we have sadness, we have anger, we have disgust, surprise, and happiness. That's called emotional stuff. And if you don't know how to use your prefrontal cortex, you suffer it. So 4D, 3D suffer emotion. So when they're out in the desert to die, in figure of speech, the bridge is, are you going to become the restored, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating person you can be in today's era? You can. Or are you going to follow fake idols, meaning fake stories, because you got someone who's making it sound like only 144,000 of you are special. Some of you are going to be chosen. No, those are dead-end stories, and we all know who are going to be in those ones. It's, again, like this man who says, I just want people to stop with what feels right and to know what is right, so they don't know how to stand still in their body. Because, let me see how I'm going to organize. They don't think about life as being something where you can have. Think that they have to give away. And there's your smoky mirror. They're blinded by their own insecurities and fears and feelings, instead of becoming wise like an owl and therefore being able to know how to make it rain. Cry when you're crying, and when you're smiling, and when you're basically a human being with secondary consciousness. So I get it, because I have a first year of my age too, but I'm still an earth keeper alongside my lovely, mystic, spiritual, and mindfully living, loving people. The coyote doesn't trick us. So when we have our brothers and sisters, the ones who have completed karma, they'll do dharma. The ones who haven't will do karma, and it's okay, because they're not demons from a sky. Nope, they're simply the ghosts from their past, and we get to meet their 0-8-year-old as their child lives through them, but it's a distorted version. We, on the other hand, have a child that is who we are. And that's why we can express the water, our emotional plane, mental and physical, as masters. And that's why you can grow into bountiful corn, and together we share the abundance. And together we know our planet is fine, because as Patrick McNamara shares, our mind consistently evolves with decentralizing of the self. Authority, the centralizing of the self. The staff of authority doesn't speak that it knows everything. It speaks what it knows, and it speaks what it doesn't know. And then in the sweat lodge we go, as time continues to be with us. And the ones of us who are masters of our own time, we're not afraid of it passing by, because we're beating to the drum, your own drum. You see, that's the beauty of being able to navigate your lower world, your subconscious and your conscious, and to bring it into life by being a healthy self-worth person, by the way. So you get to witness who you really are, and you get to share that with the world, because you have an aligned chakra system and beyond. And as you ascend, your crow's voice speaks that truth, which is different from yesterday's news, but it's not different in a way of being a rebellious teenager. It is where, when I hear about people who want to say that our species was never meant to be monogamous, I need to watch this video. It's a neuroscientist, and this is one of the angles. Then we got others who say that we are meant to be securely attached in a way that they are telling us that we'll get there through being polyamory. So anytime somebody is voicing how they think you can get somewhere like that, I'm just thinking, no. Because the human way is, number one, you have a 0-1-year-old, and then you have a 2 to 3-year-old, and 3 to 7 is what I should say. So I'm attachment trauma educated, and now I understand why all my brothers and sisters, the ones who do karma, are going to stay like that, okay? And why the ones who are not it's good. We get to hang out. And so with that being said, it's an amazing journey as you move into enlightenment, soul age group. And when you're processing that which is unknown, uncertainty, unexpected with your oversoul, you know that God doesn't leave your side, that Jesus is still with you in Holy Spirit, and then also archangels and masters and all that great stuff. But you don't fall for dressing yourself up. So when you're using your prefrontal cortex, and that's with my experience, as I expanded, I knew exactly what's happening. And there's one thing I was missing out on, which was information. The minute I got a handle on Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps the Score, I was like, okay, thank you so much. Because 4D are so off their rockers, it's not even funny. I was like, this is exactly what I've been witnessing in these years of these ascension energies. Because decentralizing of the self gone wrong, where they got a staff all right, but they ain't no authority, not for the smart brain. They're only for the ones who are actually thinking that thanks to some other human being, you're going to connect to God. You have your connection to God. Remember the book, The Ways to God. I'm a co-author with another 9 of us. My chapters, God is discerning equanimous love. So for those who are mystics and spiritual, you get your own relationship. You don't need any one of us, but it is about love. Then with science, it shows that our brothers and sisters who are not in their highest frequency, they are not devils, demons. No, these are people who need help. And the people who refute those stories, they don't have to believe in science. But those of us who are grounded in reality, thank you, Sam Harris, we know science is science. And that no shaman should be going around saying, come to me, I'll save you 20 years of therapy. That's irresponsible. It's not nice to the therapists who do so much schoolwork and then are helping people consistently. Also, tarot readers who tell you, go to me, don't go to therapy. Again, what? Excuse me? It's also not fun to meet the therapists who need therapists. Narcissists, they're not healable. My colleagues, they're all against me. Oh, I'm so sorry your colleagues are against you. That's what it sounds like to me, like you got a little kid in the room who's like, my peers, they won't take my side. Wow. So when you are a person who enjoys knowledge and you watch people who are supposed to be grown-ups whine about their peers, you just think, what the fuck? Wow, that's why, yeah, definitely. Yes. So anyways, enough about that. And back to our stories about the amazing journey of enlightenment, mysticism, and spirituality, the human way. I love every single moment of my oversoul and expansion. What makes me sad is knowing that you don't choose if your brothers and sisters are going to choose love. That's the free will they get. Robert Sapolsky says they don't have it. I know they do, and other scientists will also say they do. But in the meantime, what I'm going to close us out with is that mediocrity are the emotionally immature people, and they want love. They want in and out group stories. They don't want to do work. They don't want to do maturity. Eventually, if that's their commitment, they will stay mediocre and they will stay in their 0-8-year-olds. So their karma is not dangerous. It's just you're going to see Tom and Jerry and Pinocchio. And when it gets dangerous, they end up in prison. And the ones who actually are being followed around by the buffoons are 7 to 14, not charming to me, only to those who follow buffoons around. That's it. So if I see a buffoon, I'm going to make fun of them. I won't have to point them out because I'm not actually needing to dismantle anybody. Because the people who are successful entrepreneurs, successful people, one, we already know, thank you, Dan Martell, that the most dangerous people are those who make anyone comfortable with mediocrity. So when I see people who continue to talk about human beings being evil and whatnot, it's like, yeah, okay, where? Neuroscientist proves we evolve consistently. As Sadhguru points out, I want to see you focused on something, whatever it is, because if a human being stays focused, the universe will yield. Staying focused from the heart, though, Sadhguru. He doesn't know the psych education, because otherwise we risk having those who are doers, and they're actually focused in a way that is not great for their body. Because you want a body that knows how to use its ventral vagal state, okay? So the body is in connection, like mine, and the inner growth mindset supports those individuals. The other part that I was going to read to you is this. Thank you, Gary V. As he shares, you build the tallest building in town by building it, not by tearing other people's buildings down. And that every minute you spend trying to cut someone else's tree down is a minute you spend not growing yours. So he's a successful entrepreneur. And when I think of this other dude who's just completely envious and jealous of the individuals who connect to their audience through feelings, and he's saying, I just want people to know the facts. It's like, wow, you really don't know that you are cynical. You're in survival mode. And what the fuck? Someone must have bursted your poor childhood environment, because the only reason you think that open-hearted spontaneity is going to always be propaganda is that you just, I can't. That would be disrespectful. Okay, so you can't feel sorry for people who choose to ignore Patrick Tiahan, who tells you how you can love yourself first, and that it's confusing when you're a childhood trauma survivor, that it's confusing to be treated well when you're a childhood trauma survivor, which is why it's also hard to go to therapy. And so when you are in a healthy relationship, it feels weird. They also, by the way, people test those of us who are kind. Those of us who are kind know it. We just don't think I'm kind. I'm decent enough to be saluted. Doesn't think I'm kind. I have no guilt and no shame. This human being, I didn't do anything to. And any woman who will ever say to me, be less serious, I will do nothing. Anyone who says, get in his face, I will do nothing. They're both equally codependent, need a therapist, and not me. And not telling a healthy self-worth woman how to behave, because I behave with integrity and virtue. And I have a lot of love for every person out there, which is why I don't demonize and dehumanize my brothers or sisters or anyone, because that's what all the children of God are. So when you know how it is to be of source, Akash, Anima Mundi, the human way, this is why anybody who is continuing to spread rumors about yoga, mindfulness, meditation, about brothers and sisters and demons and all of that, I don't have room for mediocrity personally, especially not at a community where I'm saying inspire human potential. And I've always known this. I just didn't realize why people were not being their self until I did. And so what I can tell you about Maria is that I have not grown relationships with the unhealthy self-worth people, which is why when I said I don't have friendships that are, I have set consistently, this is how you're going to treat me. You don't have to be in my friendship circle. And I will learn how to treat you. And if that doesn't match, it's totally okay. I didn't lose anyone. The two human beings who don't want to be involved, I didn't lose shit. In fact, if anything, they have an ego that's grandiose and big, and that's a sin. But then again, that's where God chimes in, reminding me, you chose, no, that's not God chiming in on that. We got source, Akash, Anima Mundi. So here's where God will chime in to say, remember, you respect brothers and sisters. You don't do let's play God. When it comes to source, everyone's a piece of energy. So we will all have met each other so that we could expand. There's your story, if you want to call it a story. If we want to call it a belief, we can call it a belief. This is a human being brain that's intelligent, able to consistently share with you what the outcome of any of that, which is spirit, God, source. It will always give me the outcome of growth. But why am I growing? Because Maria is not making out some shitty human being, quote unquote, to be a shitty human being. I can be a shitty human being. It's it. It's not personal. No, it isn't. It's very not personal. I know exactly how that word works. As a teenager, when they said, it's not personal, I said, oh, you're right, it's not. Does it mean that I like to hear self-righteous, grandiose human beings who think they're the authority of everything? No, but God taught me at a very young age how not to play know-it-all, because I have a very keen eyesight. Because we all have ears to hear the frequency we're in, and I don't like liar, liar, pants on fire. And then I also don't like seeing an inner child being shamed or used or guilted or done in any way, shape, or form that which is shame on them, since my mother taught me what it looks like to respect myself and when a grown-up is not doing it. And as a functioning child adult, what I can tell you is when you have the back of people who don't have the back of themselves, and they allow human beings to make them tough and or to treat them like a little piece of shit because they have unhealthy self-worth, well, you can't walk a mule to the well and have them drink the good water. And they lack self-awareness, accountability, and regulation. So the point of view and the story is this, that while the 5D mystic here and the person who's in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, who's a functional child adult who knows all about forgiveness and Jesus and my brothers and sisters, when I have met people say, I forgave. You didn't forgive. You're just pretending. When I've met people, we're the better ones. No, we're not. We're the chosen ones. No, we're not. So when you meet individuals who are lacking confidence, empowerment, enlightenment is a trap. There's no frequency. Wow. So you just don't know how to admit to yourself you don't have an ability to do sadness, to get angry, to get afraid. You don't know how it is to be vulnerable and a human who knows that you and I might not welcome each other. So I instead have the capacity to be in the presence of someone and be rejected, cry about it, and get over it. Because I have air, water, and food, which is all I need to live. And this is why when you're told things in certain ways and you actually know exactly how you're made, you're not like, oh, I'm so surprised. So an empowered feminine will know her story is what I'm trying to get to. And mediocrity is something that we're not going to welcome. Healthy self-worth means that when you and I are disagreeing on something, that I'll be able to accept it. Then I'll tell you what I'm going to bring to the table. You tell me, and we'll see if we match up. That's it. It's not personal. It's actually quite mathematical. And when people say that is emotionless, no, it's actually emotionally, mentally, physically comfortable human beings with their own sense of self. And it's not something that needs words, because it's not the words. It's actually a frequency. And with the oversoul, all of my oversoul, they're all welcome. I didn't cut anyone out of my herd. The people who in the physical plane don't speak to me are two. But in fact, in both equations, I've had the honor to actually continue communication. And that's the beauty. I smile because, see, this is where we always love each other. And that's because we're all one big ball of energy. And we do come again together. And so the amazing journey of enlightenment, mysticism, spirituality, the human way is that you don't lose people as you expand. You grow more people. And then you find out that you left yourself gifts along the way. And then you continue to expand some more. And with sciences, we get to continue bringing common sense to the light body, rainbow body, at least with me, if you do spiritual growth, personal development, self-help, or come to workshops with questions or something. But when I realized that I had left myself little gifts, I was so like, wow, this is so fun because of the leaving me something to look to. And then as I settled into the reality that some people, they won't choose to navigate the higher frequencies, it's always my hope that they will figure out how to get, their inner child to be a part of the day-to-day life, because every person's inner child is most wishing to be brought forth. So as a function of child adult, I always have my inner child. She's all here with my adult part. That's why she's never hiding anywhere because she doesn't have to. And beautiful blend. And again, when you know that you can't choose for those you love, for them to love themselves first, you can thank Patrick Tiahan and Terrio for being out there, because they make it very clear that loving yourself first is a confusing sentence and shaming let down to people who didn't get the good first 3 years of their life. And they were not self-led as teenagers. So I got the good first 3. I was self-led as a teenager. I know all about healthy self-worth and boundaries. I don't cut people out, because only people who are small, because they have low frequency, because they don't know how to handle themselves. I'm a healer, you chum dump. So a person who is like a Mean Girls or Hangover, mediocrity. When I see it, I'm not like, oh my God, let me make sure they see me. I'm more like, I hope they don't see me. Oh gosh. And then people say, but you say you love all, and yet I love all people. Doesn't mean I want to make friends with all people. Do you have more than 24 hours a day? I don't think so. So I will have a herd. It's one person. I actually do the math. I have like 2 hours of social time, because then I have like maybe 3 hours of eating time. Then I got work. So I mean, really, I'm on a time, because if I died tomorrow, I'm going to make sure that every single second that I spent today was spent with those who, one, are not mediocre, because those people, they want to be patted on the back, part of a group, not do the ventral vagal state, and then they want to talk shit about my brothers and sisters and call them evil, Knievel, medieval. And I told them, I said yes to Jesus. And you're sounding really mean, and everyone deserves love. So please stop, because I'm really not into telling you what to do with your life, but I can't be a part of this conversation because you're getting really angry and upset. And I think what you want is a hug, but I think that maybe you don't want me to hug you. And so I'm going to leave so that you can hang out with your own brain and, do whatever the people who, so. Anyways, at the end of the day, you can all be on an amazing journey, enlightening, and whether you're mystic, spiritual, mindfully living, loving, do it the human way. Join us as paid subscribers, or come tune in to how it is to be fun. And yes, in a world that has a lot of very interesting things going on, I know that. But in the meantime, ventral vagal state, it's a superpower. It's our mammalian heritage. Everyone who will be able to get here will know all about how gooey it is to feel. And then with our oversoul, again, we don't choose for our oversoul members. They choose for themselves. If they choose love, awesome. If they choose fear, it's okay. We will have facade people in our lives. That's why God keeps chiming in to tell me not to judge human suffering. It's very straightforward. So again, thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe, and have a great one.